Welcome to Buns and Banter, a podcast by Work Besties for Work Besties. Hey, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Allie.
We're both morning show hosts for iHeartMedia.
And we're live in 3.
We're both millennials.
And we're both trying to figure out how to build the lives we dream about.
Dating.
Marriage.
Career.
Career and being a mom.
How to get through a week without crying.
Welcome to Buns and Banter.
We're glad you're here.
That's exciting.
We're just talking a little housekeeping stuff that we want to do on the pod this year, places we want to go.
Did it feel like it took you, like we're into, what would this be considered? Like the second week of the new year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you feel like it took you a little beat? I feel much more go get 'em driven this week than I did last week. I felt like I was bobbing underwater last week.
Yeah, I saw a thing online that said, like, this is the time when people usually start giving up their New Year's resolutions. And I haven't even started yet.
Which is perfect, because how can we give it up if we haven't started it? We never leave room for disappointment.
I kind of love the idea of starting them in February, like just giving yourself January to sort of ease into the new year, and then like maybe starting to make some stuff happen in February.
I told you, we talked about it on our last episode. Dry January, you got to give me a dry June. When there's nothing else to do, I think it's really hard to start resolutions in the dead of winter. Mm-hmm. Like it was 7 this week, 7 degrees. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing anything good for myself or others in 7 degrees.
I saw something on the news that was like Arctic blast headed our way. What has it been? What has it been? It's been consistently with wind chills in the single digits or below, temperatures in the teens. The highest temperature we've seen in the last like 2 weeks was like 26.
Do you know what word makes me feel so cold? Clipper system.
Clipper.
Doesn't that make you sound like, oh, don't walk outside, my nipples will cut your glass?
Yeah, you really got to get that P.
I hate
Clipper.
you about to pound into that snow.
Yes, it is so cold that I feel like my water in my house doesn't heat up as much. And now I'm starting to wonder if everything in my, because this isn't something that I noticed the first 7 years living in my house, but just this winter, I'm noticing that I think my shower plumbing is on an outside wall, which in Michigan, I don't know about what it's like where you live, but in Michigan, that's a big no-no. With no plumbing on the outside wall.
Think that.
Your pipes will freeze.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is my water not heating up? Is there something wrong with my water heater? Is it because it's so cold out that it's just not heating up as much? I even went down to my hot water heater and turned up the temperature of the water.
Yeah.
Did you know you can do that?
I did. I have no idea how to. I'm so impressed with you right now.
It's just like it's like my water heater is like the Fisher Price of water heaters. There's just like one little knob and it says water temperature, and you can just like, they made it female owned company, I bet.
That's what we need.
It's probably not, but
thank you so much.
Seriously.
No, I just feel like, and I know a lot of people were having the conversations this week about what you set your thermostat at. It's always a combo, because I would rather freeze than pay more for a bill. And it's so wild because Chris, put on a sweater. If that motherfucker, I will come home and I'm like, wow, it's so comfy in here. And he gets so excited. He goes, isn't it? And then I'll look across the living room and I see that thermostat set at 76.
And he messed with it.
And I'm like, sir, what do you think we do for a living? I'm not out here Jeff Bezosing my way through life. I'm a 66 to 67 girly.
See, I have gone up. That's one
I get so nervous.
Ins and outs for 2025. That's one of my outs for 2025 is just being cold in my own house.
Saving, but being uncomfy.
Yes.
All right.
Like the amount of money that I'm saving is what, a couple of dollars every single week. Like I'm just going to pay the extra couple dollars. Now, saving energy, you could probably still get me on that because I do care about stand up for what you stand on. Anyways.
Ooh.
I have a t-shirt that says that. I stole it. My sister got it for me.
I love that.
But I'm not going to be cold anymore. So now I'm a 69 girly.
Oh, that is a privilege to me. Like if there's certain days I'm like, oh, it's a Saturday, I want to be spending some time inside. I might 69 it, But that's rare. Honestly, the only time I ever feel bad, the other night we were all sitting on the couch watching a movie and Sophia climbed in under a blanket and all of her like limbs were ice. I'm like, oh, I guess we'll move it to 67. Are you not circulating blood properly? That's the only time I've ever felt bad.
You wouldn't think that there is much of a noticeable difference between like 67, 68 and then 69.
Yeah.
There is.
Really?
Walking into my house, and maybe it's just because it's so cold outside that like any noticeable difference just feels so warm and cozy. But I feel like I can tell, and I'm like, it is so much nicer in here.
Oh, maybe I'll have to research this. Maybe that's why I'm such a crab. A curmudgeon woman.
'Cause you're cold?
I'm cold all the time. I'm cold, and I think I brought this up. I love sitting in a hot car in the summertime. Ooh.
There is something about
I
that.
love being hot, dude.
There is something about that.
Oh my gosh.
Do your feet get cold?
Yeah, I have terrible circulation.
But you had kids. I saw something on TikTok the other day.
no.
It was an acupuncturist, and she was talking about if you're a woman and your feet are always cold, then you probably have a cold uterus.
What?
And I was like, pardon me?
What is
A cold uterus? I have no idea.
Like it's inside you, but it's cold? How is that even?
I don't know if that was just like her term or if that's like a literal thing.
I'm
Like,
going to move to the Google machine.
I don't think you can take a temperature of a uterus. I don't know. I don't know. But she was like, yeah, get it checked out. If you're planning on having kids and you got cold feet, you might have cold uterus. What?
Wow. Oh.
Uh-oh.
I mean, so I'm going to start by saying this is AI that pulled this term and says it's primarily used in traditional Chinese medicine.
Acupuncture?
Yeah. It says it describes a condition where the uterus is believed to have poor blood flow, potentially impacting fertility.
Great. Just another thing to add to the list of things I lay awake and
Not a
worry
recognized
about.
medical diagnosis in the Western Hemisphere.
Well, we don't know what we're doing over here.
TCM. Oh, herbal remedies and dietary modifications can help blood flow to the pelvic area. Let me tell you about my algorithm on Google right now. Speaking of pelvic area, I have been having these tummy issues. I've been telling my girl Allie all about this.
Yep.
And the stuff that I've Googled in the last 7 days, like my phone must think that I am just a trash human that should finally drop and just go 6 feet under. There's so much that I've never had this issue with before. And I'm like, is this late 30s? Because I have a trouble saying that. I still think I'm in my mid 30s. I still say mid 30s. Not till April do I hit late 30s. But I'll tell you, I feel like my body is backfiring big on how I've treated it the first 30 some years of my life.
I don't know what else we could have done. I mean, I guess we could have worked out.
I eat fruit and vegetables.
You eat fruit?
I do. I think I'm pretty good about my fruit. But I am like TMI moment on the pod. You remember that doll when we were younger? It was called the like Pee Pants Polly. No, maybe that was just like my little tiny piece of 90s. That's exactly how I feel. Like if I'm going to have something to eat, I need to be next to a facility. That has been the last 7 days of my life.
Interesting.
And everybody's they were like, it's neurovirus because that's everywhere right now.
It is.
But I don't feel terrible all the time.
You know what I don't understand about norovirus is that
everything.
They say that like hand sanitizer, it's very contagious.
Yep.
Very, very contagious. And a lot of like regular cleaners don't kill the bacteria along with the virus.
It's anti-hand sanitizer.
And hand sanitizer is supposed to kill 99% of germs. I guess norovirus is the 1% that it doesn't kill. But you know what does kill the germs? Soap and water. What? Explain that to me.
I can't. Did you know you can get neurovirus from food?
What?
I didn't know that either. My friend just got neurovirus. Her doctor said.
You have
she's like,
norovirus.
yeah. And she was like, I don't. He's like, does anyone else in your house have it? And she said no. And he's like, okay, try to like keep yourself away, bleach everything. She goes, then how would I have gotten it? And he goes, well, you can get it from food too. I'm like, everything in this world is aimed to hurt us.
Listen, I really want to keep eating out at restaurants and going places, but if y'all don't wash your hands, I'm going to stop coming.
Ooh,
I'm going to stop coming.
You know, I've had salmonella.
And you have to use soap.
You have to use soap. Oh, normally it's so funny you say that. So Norm, we teach our kids like you only say nice things about other people, right? But I'll tell you, when my son came home the other day from first grade and pointed out a certain kid in his class that only kind of washes his hands and doesn't use soap, I was like, that's disgusting, buddy, and you're not going to get in trouble for talking about it. You tell that kid, man. It takes one. It takes a little patient zero.
Tell Will to go back and ask that kid if he thinks the earth is round or flat. I just want to know. I just want to know.
Oh my God, there's 7, babe. But I love that you said
There
that.
are signs.
It's
It's best to get ahead of it. It really is.
But we're still carrying on.
We're still
You and
carrying
I.
on.
I'm afraid to say it out loud like it'll jinx it.
We try. I really want to talk about TikTok, but I don't want to doom spiral.
You know my feeling. I think it's going to be saved.
You do.
I don't think it's going away. Like, confident enough, I would almost place money on it. I just don't have any money.
If it is saved, though, do you think people will stay on it? Because now everyone's so excited about the Red Note app, which is also a Chinese-owned company. So
Right.
I don't feel like, maybe another couple years before they try to ban that one.
Yep. Yeah.
And like we're pretty certain now that it was Mark Zuckerberg who lobbied to have TikTok shut down. Like he was the one who
Millions
spent
of dollars.
all that money to get it like axed. Like we're sure about that, right?
I think. Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked through public records, but right, it would make sense.
Nor would we.
Nor what? Who has the time? We're busy posting to TikTok.
We're in the bathroom. We're washing our hands. We're busy.
No, I think it's going to get saved. I think it's going to be part celebrity and part one of the big like entrepreneur name people.
I love TikTok. I love it. It's my comfort app. It's where I go and scroll when I have nothing to do. I have my comfort creators.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like creating content on there because I don't feel like I have to be as put together or as buttoned up or, even as professional on TikTok. And I feel like you really got to come with your A game on Instagram. Facebook, I feel like, I'm like talking to my mom and like my aunts and like my family. So I feel like I'm comfortable on Facebook. But can I say that if TikTok goes away, I'm going to be sad, but I long for a more nostalgic time when we didn't have so many social media platforms.
Preach. I put that up on my TikTok this week. By the way, at Schmidt_ in the mitt, I'm still not to the point where I can go live because it has taken me forever to rebuild that dang platform. But I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with it. It is a constant running list in my head every single day of what have I already posted to today? What do I need to post to today? And have I done enough to make that matter in the algorithm? I don't know how social media coordinators for a company or a business do it.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Well,
every day.
because it's a full-time job.
That's fair. That's a good point.
It's a full-time,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I know that it's not treated that way in a lot of places. Like for a lot of people, they have a full-time job, like marketing director or account executive or whoever. And then they just like tack on social media to that. In my opinion, social media director is a full-time job and you probably should have some subordinates in a department. Like social media should now be a department.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get nervous doing anything out in public because I feel like I'm going to get posted to that influencers in the wild.
Yes.
I don't
And we do.
I don't want to do that.
We do so much stuff for work. I feel pretty comfortable moving in a professional way, but there is something about being on location in a place and having to shoot social media in front of people.
Yes.
And especially by myself, if I have another person there with me to hold the camera or talk with me or do something with me, I'm more comfortable. So like us doing social media together on location,
Totally different to me.
I'm way more comfortable doing that than just being totally by myself solo at a location trying to shoot content.
I'm straight up introverted as soon as that happens. I'm like, oh, God, hey, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, very cringe to me.
Somebody asked me today on the live if I ever get like self-conscious doing the lives because the camera is on you 24/7. It catches every little move. And I was like, well, I've never thought about that, but yeah, I guess now I am. What did you just see that you're... What just triggered that?
I'm so sorry. am I ever self-conscious? Or the easier answer would be, when am I not self-conscious?
When I'm sleeping, I guess.
Ooh, even then, because I had the most ridiculous, sorry, quick pivot, butt dial ever. I never have like accidental butt dials. And I had just gotten off the phone with one of our sales reps. And apparently at some point during my after the show nap, I rolled over and called them. And all they heard on the other end was my like heavy breathing and slobbering into the speaker, to the point where I jolted awake because they were yelling, "Are you all right? Is
Yeah.
this a medical emergency?"
That would be
Self-conscious when I sleep now as well.
I would think that there was something wrong.
Yes.
Like maybe you were in a
Absolutely.
place where you couldn't talk.
Yep. Been kidnapped in the trunk of a car,
Yeah.
unable to kick out the taillight. That's exactly where I would go if I got a call like that from you too. Nope. Just napping like the whale I am amongst my comforter with absolutely no idea that I'd called someone. So fair to say, self-conscious about everything, especially TikToking in public.
You said comforter. You want to talk about luxury?
Ooh.
I got 2
On the same bed?
on the same bed.
Oh my.
And I can only have both of my comforters, and I have so I have my fitted sheet, and then I feel like I'm the last millennial on the face of the earth
You're
that
not.
uses a top sheet.
I live for a top sheet.
Jimmy gives me so much grief about the top sheet. He doesn't use one. At his house, when we're at his house, there isn't one. It's just the fitted sheet and the comforter and like blankets and stuff.
Gross. You're not in college anymore. Get a top sheet. It comes in the bag.
I know. And like, that's his house. That's his space. Like, I don't really care. But I'm like, what are we going to do when we move in together? I think we're just going to have to do that. Like, where is it? Sweden, where they each have like their own bed linens. They share a bed,
Yes.
but they each have their own stuff.
Yes.
I think we're going to have to do that because when he is not sleeping at my house, fitted sheet, top sheet, blanket, comforter number 1, comforter number 2, blanket on top.
Dude, I would sleep over so hard at your house.
It's like a cocoon.
That's an oasis.
It is. And you'd think that I would love a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
But I don't.
But you like the feeling of a couple of comforters and that kind of airy weight.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. Mm-hmm. I've thought about getting a weighted blanket, but I feel like your hack might be even better.
I got my grandma a weighted blanket. She hated it. Pro tip, they come in different weights.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
No, I wouldn't have either.
You can get like a 5-pound weighted blanket. You can get a 10-pound weighted blanket. You can get a 15-pound weighted blanket. I just went and got a weighted blanket from Target because she said she wasn't sleeping well. And I read online that might help.
Yep.
And she gave it back to me. She was like, I can't do it. It's like, it's suffocating. And it was like a 15-pound weighted blanket.
On your grandma.
And this is like a tiny, like 94-year-old woman. I was like, no shit. You're being crushed. You're being crushed.
Yeah.
But they're not good for your circulation, I have read.
Oh, well, you know what? Like I said, everything in the world seems to be at you right now. So give me my weighted blanket, my cold uterus, and whatever is happening in my pelvic area, and I'm just going to deal.
I just think you get to a certain point where these are things that you just have to live with and accept now.
This positive podcast brought to you by the Calm app or something. That's really, I don't like to know what could be happening with your body. Like I said, the stuff I Googled, I'm either not drinking any water at all or I have a stomach tumor.
Yeah.
So I've left you a few of my things if that's the case.
Oh, thank
Wrote
you.
down on a little loose leaf piece of paper.
You bequeathed me.
I bequeath to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I'll leave you my comforters too. You could be sleeping like 5 deep, babe.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Talk about the dream.
Do I have the gall to do one more?
I believe in you. Oh, and I want to
feel
come
like that
over.
would be too much. I would be too hot.
I want to snuggle right in there. See? And then you can lower your thermostat to my wonderful 66, save money. Honey, your 2025 just became the most successful moment of your life.
Everything's coming up Allie Mac these days.